Hello and welcome back to another episode of Lisa Ann's Backstage Convos. Today we have a guest, not a solo episode, not just a guest, someone that you know very well as Small Hands. Also, I know very well as my friend Erin, who is married to one of my favorite human beings on the entire planet. That's Joanna Angel. We know that, Erin, you hear about you and Joanna all the time, but there's just this beautiful connection I've got to learn about you since I've gotten to know you since you've moved to New York. Thank you so much for joining me here today.
Oh, thank you, Lisa. That was the warmest welcome I think I've ever gotten.
I wanted you to feel like I rolled it out. But you are here in New York, so everyone knows, West Coast boy, but now here in New York. We're outside getting in here. It's a chilly day, and I always feel bad for my friends who are adjusting to their first couple of winters back here. But Erin, what's it been like moving to New York as the first place you've moved to create your new life while you're still in the industry, so successful in the industry, but you've kind of got like multiple businesses going on now?
I have been here almost 2 years now, and I can't believe I'm saying this being from Southern California and living there my whole life previously, but I fucking love it. I feel at home here. I feel inspired. I feel like it's a great place for creativity and also a great place to still remain in the industry, do the work that we do, and have multiple ventures going on at the same time. I think the city is just very welcoming of like that kind of hustle.
I agree. And the creative aspect, now that I've gotten to know you, I know so many things. You love to DJ, you love to produce music. So do you feel that you're more involved with those things since you've moved here?
I do, and it's funny because it used to be, or maybe being from the West Coast, you had to be in LA, had to be in Hollywood to do that kind of stuff, and I lived in LA for 10 years, and I'm thriving more musically here in New York than I ever did there. I just think that as the world changes and as time changes, Los Angeles, bless its heart, it's just not what it once was, especially for entertainment. While I feel like moving to New York, there's a real serious energy of creative people just everywhere in the city that I am like so honored to now be sort of a part of.
And there's so many more venues here and different sized spaces. Like you can be seeing music every single night of the week in New York City.
And it's funny you say that because I'm a resident DJ at Soho House. So I'll go from spinning on the roof at the pool there, and then I'll DJ like a private sex club in Brooklyn,
so you're
in a dungeon.
Doing multiple locations in one night.
Well, not in one night, but in the same week.
Okay. Amazing.
And that's just so New York to me. It's so cool to just be able to do such a wide, wacky variety of interesting things and still get to sort of remain myself.
Yeah, the diversity here is incredible. And it's so easy to do multiple things. I think we all got to a point where we were just locked into the vibe of LA was everyone was exhausted from traffic, where the vibe here is like, oh, we're bebopping in between our spots, whether you take the train or you walk. And so you're still active in the industry, and your time in the industry has been nothing more than just you climbing and climbing and climbing and climbing. So to not make you go back to the beginning, but to kind of talk about, did you expect this to be something that was a big part of your life, or was it something you were more just trying out?
Actually, neither. I mean, I picked a name, Small Hands, which is pretty fucking stupid. So I clearly wasn't planning on this giant career or being the guy. Originally, it sounds a little corny, but my wife Joanna, she owned a production studio. She was a director. I started doing porn just to help out my wife. I was only in her movies. I didn't get paid. I did it for love. And so that was really all it ever was.
Pure sacrifice.
And I
really went through not getting paid to have sex with beautiful women.
Yeah, I know. What a tough road it's been. But I was in, before I met my wife and before I was in the adult industry, I was in the music business. I was in bands. I played in a lot of bands. And so at the time where I started doing a little bit of porn. It was just in between. Oh, I don't have a band right now, and I need to help out. Yeah. So in the
fill
filler,
the void that's easy, that's there, that's not a long commitment. You don't got to train.
Yeah. So
you don't got to be hired for 90 days before you're allowed on the floor. You know what I mean?
In the interim, from one band to the next, let's fuck a bunch of people on camera while my wife directs me. So no, I never thought it would become this thing that it's become today. It definitely wasn't planned.
Were you a swinger before you got into the business?
No. I had only been in monogamous relationships, and to be honest, I had never had. A lot of my firsts were on camera. I had never had an orgy before. I think I had like one threesome, and it was like pretty sloppy and,
it was
not
the
memorable.
Experiment one that you
it was like the one at the
next
party
thing you know,
that we're all like, let's try this. I had never like fucked a girl with another man before, things like that.
All of those things.
So I wasn't a prude by any means, but I lived a pretty standard monogamous classic, lifestyle.
American guy.
Yeah.
So do you remember the mindset of you being married to Joanna and thinking that she was going to be watching you doing this? Or was it normalized to you? You'd been on set with her so much that by the time you actually got in front of the camera, you understood it.
Yeah. I mean, previous to me being on camera, I would go to set. I would help out. I was kind of a PA for a while.
Picking up the baby wipes.
I would do everything. I would help the talent.
Load the trucks.
I'd help the lighting guys bring their shit in. I'd help the talent fill out paperwork. I'd make tacos for everyone for lunch. I was craft services. Sometimes, I'd be wiping up stuff off the floor after the people were done having sex. So I literally did it all, saw it all. I knew how it worked. And so I knew what I was getting into when I did step in front of the camera. But it's funny because I knew how it worked, I did not want to be in front of the camera. The first time Joanna said, "Hey, would you like, I want you to do a movie," I said, "No, thank you. Thank you, but no, thank you.
I'll do everything else. I'll be craft
and I
services.
said,
I'll load and unload the
like,
trucks. I'll clean up spooge on the floor, but no.
I'm your like rocker boyfriend. I'm in a band. I help out. I love, that you've got this thing going, but I don't need to." I never pictured myself being a male star ever. I didn't think I was that guy. I never looked at myself and thought, "Oh yeah, you're that guy." So from humble beginnings, you know.
So you start doing this and realize, this is a no-brainer for me because it doesn't work for everybody.
It didn't happen quite like that either. To be honest, I was terrified the first 2 years of my career.
Did you hear your heart beating?
I would have like semi-panic attacks driving up to the set, and I'd just be like, "I don't know, bro. You're here. You got to do this. Like sink or swim. It's do or die." And so, to be honest, the first couple of years of my career were pretty stressful for me, and not a lot of fun. Even though that sounds very weird to say, it was, as you know, being a performer, it's such a high pressure pass fail. I kind of liken it to doing like MMA or boxing, where when ding ding ding, when it's a green light, when the bell rings, you better be ready. Everyone's watching, all the lights are on you, and if you do a good job, you're king of the world. And if you don't, tail between your legs, you feel so emasculated, and so that kind of intense stress and pressure, which I saw being on set, I said, "No, thanks. I'm good. I don't need to be a porn star."
Yeah, you witnessed the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? There's a lot of emotions too. There's a lot of vibrations that people bring with them to set, and sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not. So you're managing that. It is a lot more stressful, I think, for a male performer than it is for us. I mean, even though we have to be there a little bit longer, we're doing Pretty Girls before you get there. Some girls will say, "Well, their day is so much shorter." I'm like, yeah, but
I would never say it's harder or less hard, because everyone's individual experience is whatever it is.
Sure.
But the one thing I will say is you can't fake an erection.
That's what I was going to say. That's why
you can fake an orgasm. I can be done.
You can say pop shot. I can say, "Okay, great.
Yep.
I'll climax. What do you want? 60 seconds?
Yeah,
perfect."
and
so you've heard directors say that. Okay, let's build it up for the climax. Okay, you're like, okay, when you have to start directing people climaxing, this was not a good scene. But no, it's real. And so, when was it that you decided, I'm going to branch out now and add a layer? Because I've been places with you, and I am blown away that you get recognized way more than me and Joanna combined, and it's hilarious.
No, come on, Lisa.
Yes,
Lisa, you're Lisa.
Yeah, but I think men, you
I'm
don't wear
very-
makeup, you don't change your look. It's not
Right.
like you're in heels or you have a different demeanor. It's just like
It's
guys
true.
are guys,
I think too, it's my tattoos have helped because it makes me very instantly recognizable.
Of course.
Maybe even more, there may be another male performer who's also just as well known, but that quick, like, oh, I see his tattoos from across the room. I know that's Aaron, small hands, whatever. And so for better or for worse, I think that's kind of helped me really be recognizable.
Sure. Yeah, there's specific, whether they're on your hand or your neck, somebody knows the color of it. It's like, oh yeah, I know who that is.
And I would like to think too, and maybe this is a little bit patting myself on the back too much, but there's certain performers that are very well known for just porn. Like that is their lane. They are superstars. They are deities. They are gods and goddesses. And I, though, because I do so many things, because I'm a DJ, because I'm in a band, and I was doing, I was touring the world in bands before I was even in porn. So it's like I've always done many creative things, and I've always made sure to put those out into the world. Even the whole time I was doing porn, you always knew I was a music guy. That was very calculated. It was on purpose because I didn't ever want to just have the sex part be my only identity. I wanted it to be one very cool part of this bigger thing of who I was. And so I think now, because of that, and because I stayed consistent with that, I do get recognized a decent amount in public because I'm more than just sex. I would like to think.
I completely
Maybe not. Maybe I'm just a dick.
I completely agree. I mean, you can tell that from your social media, the things that you share, and the fact that it's your authentic self. This is who you've always been. And now music is another way for you to communicate. Doing scenes is actually a way to communicate. We're communicating with the world through this art of this sexual creation, right?
Yeah.
But now you create a podcast with your wife
Yeah.
that I've been on, that I absolutely love. It's the perfect situation for you studio-wise because of your location where you guys are. So just the tips. What made you guys decide to start Just the Tip?
Well, initially, we had pitched a podcast to the Gas Digital Network, which is the network we're on. Shout out to them.
Shout out Gas Digital.
For just me to have a show alone.
Okay.
And it was a lot more serious in tone. And basically I was told that wouldn't sell.
What did you want to talk about, Aaron? Politics, news?
No, actually I've never, and you're the first person I've ever told, outside of Joanna and the network. But so I'm the son of a pastor. I grew up in a very religious, Christian, strict, conservative household. And I now do the work I do. And what I wanted to do is have a show where I interview interesting, creative people about their religious or lack thereof religion in childhood and how it leads and how it works its way into their adult life and affects whatever interesting, cool things they're doing now, be it sex work, be it music or art. Because I think that's such a fascinating two worlds to pick apart and see where the lines are drawn.
Yeah, and there's so many specialists and doctors and even life coaches that talk about these elements and how they can make you make decisions without you thinking them through for yourself.
Yeah.
How does this benefit me, or was just this something brought into my life that I accepted as mine, and then I started to make my own choice? Like, this doesn't suit me.
It's a very fascinating topic to me because I've lived it. I come from it. And it still permeates me every day, like that stuff from childhood. But maybe down the road that'll come to light.
Aaron, we love that you have this. We want to have these conversations. Maybe you should search out other podcasts and go on as a guest. But no, we're not doing this topic.
They said, how about you and your wife have a show where it's fun and and not what you're wanting at all. No, basically they said, that's a cool idea, but we're more interested in the two of you and the dynamic you share, which also has turned out to be a great, awesome show. And I'm actually really happy that it worked out this way because I love working with my wife.
It's a whole new activity.
We've worked
for
together
you
in
to
so
get,
many.
Get you out. You go into the studio. I'm sure you guys go out and do something after. When
Yeah,
you're
we
downtown.
go have dinner.
Yeah, whatever.
It's a great vehicle too to have our awesome friends come in and hang out and bullshit for a little bit. So, Just the Tips. Make sure you check it out. And I think the episode with Lisa Ann is one of our highest viewed ones to date. So
thank you so much for that. What is it like to have a bird's eye view of your relationship? Because when you're watching the clips, you are watching you two as a couple.
I think the biggest revelation I've had seeing myself third person like that is a lot of times, especially in the early episodes, where me and Joanna, we're very strong individuals. We have our own opinions, and sometimes they don't match.
Of course.
And we're down to state that, know. So sometimes on the podcast we've gotten in little, I won't say fights, but little tiffs,
debates,
and then we'll leave, and both of us be like, we shouldn't have done that. That's like, we shouldn't be like fighting on air. And then everyone's like, that was my favorite part. That was so funny. And when I watch it back, I didn't realize we were so unintentionally funny, because we're just being ourselves. And now I'm watching and I'm like, we look like some kind of goth Lucy and Ricky from like I Love Lucy, where we've been together so long and there's so much love and we know each other almost too well. But it works.
Yeah, and I think that's healthy for people to see, because people are going to debate something and maybe carry a grudge for a day or two. There's things that do happen, so it's relatable, it's real.
Yeah, and I think it's cool to show come on, like a married couple who never fights, everything is perfect. That's so fake. And that's so not what we want to come across. We want to come across as authentic as we can. Obviously, it's a show, so it's going to be a little, produced and curated. But we're real people, and we're actually married, and we have real conversations. And sometimes we agree and sometimes we don't. And like, we've been together 12 years. You think we've never gotten into it? Of course we have.
Oh, yeah. Do you think you've never slept on the couch, or she's never slept on the couch in a fit of rage?
So what we want to bring is a relatability that even though we fuck all these people for a living, even though we live in some aspects a very unique, charmed lifestyle, there's many aspects to us that are just like everybody else.
Well, that brings me to earlier when we first got here and I asked you what you were doing. Where's Joanna? You said she's home making dinner right now.
Yeah, because I made dinner earlier this week. We both like to cook, so I'll make dinner one night. She'll make dinner one night. Sometimes we'll divide and conquer, and we'll both work on stuff.
That shows that groundedness, and it's not often we get to be a part of the lives of a couple that's in the industry and that's thriving on so many different aspects of life as well. So, Aaron, where can everyone follow you?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at @thesmallhands_. You can also hit up my onlyfans.com/smallhands, where there's all kinds of spicy things. I also curate special custom playlists for fans. I do live private DJ shows for fans. I do a lot of my OnlyFans. That's not just the filthy, I do a lot of.
I love that.
And sometimes I mix it. I do naked DJ nights, and I'll go live and play for people. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah.
That is incredible. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I wanted to share more about you. I've just loved that I've gotten to know you. Make sure you give a follow. Make sure you check out the podcast, Just the Tips. I will make sure everyone has all of the socials. And for all of you out there, don't forget, visit your local Sapphire. Whether you're in Vegas with your friends for a bachelor party or an event, you need to go in that big location. You're going to love it. We've got 3 here in New York City: Times Square, 39th Street, and 60th Street. And Super Bowl Sunday will be the biggest party in the entire city right here with me and my friends at Sapphire 60. Thanks for listening to another episode of Lisa Ann's Backstage Convos.
Woo woo.